Welcome to the GetRealWealth.com radio show, where wealth means a lot more than just building a second stream of income. Listen and learn how 70% of the millionaires in America used real estate to create a lifestyle that most people only dream about. A lifestyle that includes good health, family, romance, travel, charity, and all the other parts of a balanced life. Now, here is your host, real estate investor and mentor, Steve Davis.
Good afternoon and welcome to the show. I am your host, Steve Davis. This is the GetRealWealth.com radio show where we're always talking about building a second stream of income. And our focus is on real estate investing, but this can be done with multiple types of businesses. But it does have to be a true business. And most people mistake self-employment for a business. In other words, they start a company, they work in it, and they think, oh, I own a business. You don't. You own a company, but not a business. And you have to make the distinction in your head that if you can disappear for a year and make the same amount of money as if you're there, that's a business. But if you quit working at your company that you own and you make less money than if you're there, that's self-employment. There's a huge difference. What happens is many people, they buy a company, start a company, and they begin to work inside that company. We could take an attorney, a doctor, a dentist, a CPA, a roofer, a plumber, a lawn care person. They start a company and they work in it. And it's a sad, sad situation that most people never get out of that position, just like most people never get out of working for somebody else. So give yourself credit for starting a company and being successful at it. You need to be proud of yourself for that. Give yourself credit, but understand that there's another level, and that is business owner. A business owner does nothing inside the company. If your name is on the organizational chart, the org chart, in other words, you're the president or the accountant or head cook and bottle washer, that's self-employment. A business owner has people working with them and they are on the org chart. They work in that business. In that case, those people have a job at that business. Whereas most people who own a company have a job in that company, that makes them self-employed. And all you have to do is look at your tax return. If you don't believe me, if you think you own a business and you're paying Social Security, Medicare, you're self-employed. Those are self-employment taxes. And you have to accept that and realize that there's another stage. This may be the first time you've heard of it. You may have heard of it before and just haven't done anything about it. And my job with today's show is to encourage you to do something about it. And again, today I don't care if you're a franchise owner. I don't care if you're a roofer, a doctor, a dentist. I want you to figure out how to get out of working in the business. How do you do that? And the big fear that comes up is an ego-based fear. It's, oh my gosh, I'm so valuable to the company. Nobody works as hard as I do. I couldn't find somebody to work as hard as I do. BS. What that really is saying is that you're not very good at hiring people. I've learned over my 30 years of business experience that I can always find somebody that can do it as well or better than me if I'm willing to train, care about them, and work hard to train them to replace me. You know, I did it at my last company multiple times. And I will do it with this company. My goal is 5 years from now that the company will run without me. I'm not going to gurufy myself or set up a system where it's dependent on my personality. I'm going to find somebody that can do as good a job on the radio. I'm going to find somebody that can do as good a job training at the office. I can find somebody that will do my weekend class effectively. It may take 3 people. Now that may be ego-based too, but my vision is it's 3 positions. 3 positions. Radio show host, we'll call it office manager, and seminar teacher. 3 positions. But I'm going to replace myself within 5 years. By the time I'm 60, I want to have no ties to Real Wealth Academy other than just as a business owner. Now, am I going to stop doing the radio shows at 60? No. Am I going to stop teaching at 60? No. That's not my point. My point is that if you're legacy based, meaning you care about the future as much as you care about the present, you've got to do that. Because I just had I've lost like 4 friends in the last 2 years, all under 60. Now, granted, there was some obesity, there was smoking, you know, we all choose how we die. But nonetheless, all under 60, they're dead, gone. So I plan on making sure that if I die at 60, everything still runs. Now, if I die before 60, I've got a huge life insurance policy to take care of my family. So anyway, it's your job, and let's go back to the self-employed person. It's your job to train people to replace you. Otherwise, when you die, guess what else dies with you? The business. And women outlive men. So if you're married to a woman, she's going to outlive you. Do you really want her burdened with a business that's going out of business when you pass? Of course not. You want a business that will continue to run when you're gone. So the first thing you got to do is get your ego in check. The second thing you got to do is train, and then train some more. And find good people. Put them in place and begin the training process. So that, and I would say no more than 5 years from now, you don't have to work in that business anymore, in that company anymore. Remember, there's a difference between a company and a business. All right, we'll talk more about this when we come back from the break, and we're going to focus on Robert Kiyosaki's work, The Cashflow Quadrant. If you have not read that book, highly recommend it. We'll talk more after the break here on the GetRealWealth.com radio show. I'm your host, Steve Davis. You're listening to AM 700 KSEV, the voice of Texas. Thanks for listening. Are you tired of losing money in every down market? Did you know that real estate makes money in both the up and down markets? In fact, we make more money in the down market. Hi, this is Steve Davis, host of the GetRealWealth.com radio show. Yes, we are praying for a down market, and you should know why. To find out why, attend our free 2-hour introductory workshop. To reserve a seat, visit GetRealWealth.com and click on the free workshop button at the top of the page. That's GetRealWealth.com. Thank you. Welcome back to the GetRealWealth.com radio show. I'm your host, Steve Davis. You can email me at asksteve@getrealwealth.com anytime during the show. Don't worry about the subject matter that I'm covering. You may have a question about rental, maybe leases or locating property or something like that, and I'm talking about being self-employed and being a business owner. So don't hesitate to email me any question. I'll take a break from the subject matter and answer your question. You may also call me at 281-558-5738, 281-558-KSEV. My email is asksteve@getrealwealth.com. asksteve@getrealwealth.com. Okay, so we're moving into the cash flow quadrant. I basically talked about two of the quadrants that Robert Kiyosaki talks about already, and that is the self-employed and the business owner. And the big distinction you have to make is that little quip from Michael Gerber: if you can disappear for a year and make the same amount of money as if you were there, that's a business. If you disappear for a year and you make less money than if you're there, that's self-employment. But nothing wrong with self-employment. It's awesome. As I said, give yourself credit. You're a stud or studette for doing that. Congratulations. That took courage. You risked a lot. It's awesome. It's a great place to be, because the next step is business owner and then eventually to investor. And really, I think business owner and investor are almost the same. Almost the same. And I'll explain that as we go, if we have time, because it's not that important. It's just they're very similar. It's hard for me to make a distinction between the two, because I guess I better say it. If you take $500,000 and start a business and you don't work in the business, or you take $500,000 and invest it in someone else's business and you don't work in the business, that's pretty much the same. But you need to make the distinction in your head that there are four sources of income. The first one is the upper left-hand quadrant. Oh, by the way, while you're listening to me, go Google Cashflow Quadrant. Google Cashflow Quadrant and then click Images. And you'll see 100 different people have a different interpretation or way of expressing the cash flow quadrant. Go ahead and open one of those pictures where it shows the employee, the self-employed, the business owner, and the investor. And you'll be able to follow along a little bit better. Obviously, if you're in your car, don't do that. Do not pull it up on your phone if you're driving. Stay safe. So you have employee, you have self-employed, business owner, and investor. And this could be the employee and the self-employed are on the left-hand side of the quadrant. The business owner and the investor are on the right-hand side. The left-hand side, employee, self-employed, is active. You trade time for money. The more you work, the more money you make type concept. The right-hand side, business owner and investor, is the passive side. This is where you don't do anything, but you continue to make money. Now, be careful here, because a lot of people will say, ooh, if I get to that side, I'll never work again. That's probably not true. Probably not true. Most of the millionaires that I know, and I know people worth, over $100 million, of course, I'm not going to tell you their name, so I'm not name dropping, but I am standing on their shoulders to shout about their success. They have income coming in from both sides, self-employment and business owner. And the reason they do is because their passion may not be their business. Take me, for example. My business is real estate. My self-employment is Real Wealth Academy, selling mentoring packages. So I love to teach, I love to mentor, and I don't want to stop. I feel very empty. That's the only word I can come up with. That 2 years I had to take off was not fun because it took away my mission in life, my purpose, and it was very painful psychologically. But my business is real estate, meaning I put up money into syndicators' deals and they send me a check every quarter, and that's about all the work I do is read over a quarterly statement, which takes maybe 30 minutes an hour, and go deposit a check. It's very difficult. And you could define that as an investor if you wanted to. I prefer business owner. I feel better about it because I'm working with people as opposed to just my money working in a stock or something like that. But the truth is, when you're in a stock, you're actually supporting people, their jobs, the employees. So it's really about the same. But anyway, in my vernacular, I consider myself a business owner of these apartment complexes, and I'm self-employed in my mentoring business. Most people are like that I know, that are successful. And what I mean by success is really they're leading a balanced life. They've got a family, they're in shape, they're involved in charities, they're traveling, they're romancing, they're having fun. It's just a good, high quality of lifestyle. The people that I see that don't have some form of activity, either employed or self-employed, don't seem to be as happy to me. You know, I've joked about being able to, I can go into a room and pick out trust fund babies. There's just a hollow look to them, a meaningless look that, I don't know, just being a trust fund baby seems really dangerous to do that to your kids, to leave them a lot of money. Really seems dangerous. The only way that I'm going to do it is the way Ben Franklin did it. He put restrictive covenants so that his heirs could not do anything but grow the business. They couldn't sell the business. I think it was all real estate too. They couldn't sell the real estate unless they were going to buy more real estate. Does that make sense? Because if you just hand your kids a bunch of money, they could very easily destroy their lives with it. It's so easy. So anyway, back to the cash flow quadrant. You've got your employee income. That's your job. You have no leverage. And that accounts for 5% of the population's wealth. Only 5%. The self-employed people, and this is on the active side. The active side. The people who are active, 95% of them make their money 95% of the money is made through self-employment. These are the doctors, the attorneys, the CPAs, the roofers, the plumbers, you name it. Whatever self-employment you choose, add those all together. So the employees make the least. If you're working for someone else, you're always going to make the least amount of money. When you go to the passive side, the business owner and the investor, the business owner accounts for about 95% of the wealth, and the investor, that's about 5% of the wealth. So most people that are truly wealthy own a business. They're not just trading investments. So my sales pitch to you is that you want to have self-employment. This is the ultimate high-quality lifestyle. You want to have self-employment, and in rare cases, or employment that you love. In other words, there's a guy who works for Amazon, and I've never seen a happier guy in my life. I mean, just joyful at all times. And he works a lot of hours too, 45, 50 hours a week. And he's just so happy. But he's also got 20 or 30 rent houses. So he's got employed income at a job that he loves and is passionate about, and business income. He's got a very high quality lifestyle. But most people who have really high quality lifestyles, they fall into the self-employment quadrant and the business owner quadrant. And the self-employment is whatever you love to do to help and serve other people. Now, don't let that sound corny to you at all. That is what capitalism is all about. The only way you make money in a capitalist society is helping and serving other people, because money only comes from one place. The government doesn't have any money. The banks don't have any money. The corporations don't have any money. Whose money do they have? They have our money. So you got to get out there and help and serve other people. That's your self-employment. When we come back, we'll talk about the different types of business owner. This is the GetRealWealth.com radio show. I'm your host, Steve Davis. If you've got a question for me, please pick up that phone and call me right now, 281-558-5738, 281-558-KSEV. You're listening to AM 700, the voice of Texas. Thanks for listening. Real estate accounts for more millionaires in America than any other investment vehicle. This second stream of income can truly change your life. More time for travel and romance, more time for family and fitness, more time for whatever you want to do with your life. To find out how to build this second stream of income, attend our free 2-hour introductory workshop on real estate investing. To reserve a seat, visit GetRealWealth.com and click on the free workshop button at the top of the page. That's GetRealWealth.com. Thank you. Welcome back to the GetRealWealth.com radio show. I'm your host, Steve Davis. Remember that you can email me at any time during the show on any subject. Don't worry about the subject I'm covering. Today's show is very high level, but it's important for everyone to understand, as Stephen Covey talks about in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, you have to begin with the end in mind. And what I'm trying to tell you is what the end looks like, what your ultimate goal looks like. It's a combination of employed and self-employed income, or one or the other, and owning a business. And I don't separate business and investor because they're so closely related. So anyway, my email's asksteve@getrealwealth.com. If I didn't give it, asksteve@getrealwealth.com, or call me at 281-558-5738, 281-558-KSEV. Now, one of the things about self-employment is your self-employment should literally be a joy. And I'm not exaggerating when I say you wake up in the morning and you're excited to get to your place of business, which could be your home or it could be an office. But you're excited about it. You don't want to sleep in. You don't want to goof off. You want to get to work. Because when you're in your purpose, work is play. Work is a joke. This radio show is so much fun to me. I do it 7 days a week, sometimes 2 times a day. It's like nothing. Nothing. Because I love it. And when you find your purpose, and here's a secret about finding your purpose. I laugh in people's face when they say, I'm taking a trip around the world to find myself. I'm like, the whole focus is wrong. What are you talking about? I'm going to find, what does that even mean? Stop thinking about yourself and think of others. And by default, you'll find yourself. Let me say that again. Stop thinking about yourself. Don't take a stupid vacation. Focus on how you're here to help and serve others, and you'll find yourself by default. And when you do, the joy of work comes to life. It's an incredible experience. And it's not just me. I know dozens upon dozens of people who have achieved this. I guess I know hundreds who have achieved this, they're in their purpose. You don't have to go on vacation to find yourself. Focus on helping other people, and suddenly you'll know who you are, and you'll be proud of who you are, and you won't have to go searching to figure it out. So the next stage, again, I'm assuming, I almost said something incorrectly. Here's what I've also seen. I've seen people who were employed or self-employed move over to the business owner column and quit their employment and self-employment, but then go back to a different self-employment. And what I mean by that is they weren't in their purpose. They were at jobs that they did not look forward to. They were doing things they didn't enjoy, and so they got out of it. But I'm warning you, this talk about retirement's the goal. It's not the goal. Retirement stinks. I did it at 30 for about 6 months. I did it for 2 years at 53. It's the most boring, stupid idea I've ever heard. You know, I see these guys, oh, I'm going to retire and play golf all day. Really? Are you that simple-minded that you're entertained by golf for more than a couple hours? Pitiful. Come on. That's all you want to do with your life? Sip Mai Tais under a palm tree and play golf? You may have missed the point. Most people want to have both sources of income. You just want to make sure that your employed or self-employed income is where you're spending your time and effort. You want it to be something that brings you joy and, of course, brings others joy and happiness and helps them, because that's what's going to bring you joy. Your business can be something you don't even like. Like, you know, I don't like real estate. It's not something that I wake up in the morning and go, ooh, I'm going to do my next deal. I'm more interested in my students' deals than I am in my own. When it comes to mine, I find a competent syndicator. They bring me a deal, I hand them money, and that's about as much work as I do on that. Then I'm back to mentoring. So real estate, why do I constantly talk about real estate? Because it is the easiest, most effective thing I've ever seen. Okay, let me qualify that the average person can do en masse as well, meaning a lot of people can do it. It's very effective. The rates of return, I'm not exaggerating, and I'm going to talk about this on the webinar Thursday evening. I make about a 300% rate of return the first year that I own a single family house. Now, it drops all the way down to about a 60% rate of return after the first year. Terrible. But do you see why I love to own real estate, but I don't want to work in the real estate? And that's where passive investing comes into play. And by the way, if you have not reserved a seat for that webinar Thursday, it's a 1-hour webinar, 6:30 to 7:30 this Thursday, where I present how single family makes you money, how apartments make you money, 13 pillars of wealth and happiness, and then explain how our mentoring program works. If you'd like to attend that, please go to getrealwealth.com now. And the reason I say now, sorry to put pressure on you, is because things come up. You know, you spill your coffee, you get a flat tire, and you forget about it. Don't let that happen to you. Do it now while it's on your mind. You can do it on your phone. You can do it from your computer. It's getrealwealth.com. Upper right-hand corner, it will say free workshop or free seminar. And that will get you on the list so that we can email you the details. It will be live on Facebook and Instagram, so you have to have one of those accounts. The following week, same time, the following Thursday, 6:30 to 7:30, I'm going to do it on Zoom. Now, anybody can watch the Zoom one. We're just doing an experiment to see how effective it is on Facebook and Instagram. Anyway, go to getrealwealth.com, upper right-hand corner, free workshop, and you can register there. So as you go through life and you're evaluating your results and you're saying, look, I'm not in the financial, I've worked for 20 years or longer, I'm not in the financial position I want to be in, then there's the calling card that says you've got to do something different the next 20 years. And what do you do different? I suggest you focus on this cash flow quadrant and that you start building that second stream of income as a business owner with real estate. And I want to add something. I've got to get this. I just deleted it, so give me just a second to get back to it. It's an email from Nathan Ross, who was the guest on the show yesterday. And we were talking about using your 401k to buy real estate. But the thing I warned people about at the very beginning of the show is Nathan is he calls himself a fire hydrant of information. And it can be very overwhelming on the radio. And he felt like he was a little overwhelming on yesterday's show. So he sent me this email, and I want to read it to you, just this one sentence. Texas residents who are married have a way to get their 401k funds out of the big company 401k plan without quitting their job or turning 59. That's all you need to know. How to do it is where you reach out to Nathan. And what Nathan was trying to do was answer all of your questions. And the problem is there's 15, 20 different scenarios that you'll fall into one category of those. And he's trying to explain all 20, which you can't do on a radio show. So what I want you men and women to do who have a 401k plan at your job, and you would like to get that 401k money out and available to invest in real estate, I want you to reach out to Nathan Ross. His email is nathan@npross.com. nathan@npross.com. If you can't remember that email, just email me and I'll send you his email. It's asksteve@getrealwealth.com, which should be easy to memorize since this is the getrealwealth.com radio show and I'm Steve. asksteve@getrealwealth.com. If you've got a question for me, we're coming up on the final segment of today's show, so call me at 281-558-5738, 281-558-KSEV. You're listening to AM 700, the voice of Texas. Thanks for listening. Real estate accounts for more millionaires in America than any other investment vehicle. This second stream of income can truly change your life. More time for travel and romance, more time for family and fitness, more time for whatever you want to do with your life. To find out how to build this second stream of income, attend our free 2-hour introductory workshop on real estate investing. To reserve a seat, visit getrealwealth.com and click on the free workshop button at the top of the page. That's getrealwealth.com. Thank you. Welcome back to the final segment of today's show. This is the GetRealWealth.com radio show. You can always find us online at GetRealWealth.com if you're interested in some mentoring on real estate investing. We have a free workshop that explains how our mentoring works. We're actually doing it on Facebook and Instagram this Thursday evening, 6:30 to 7:30, and we're done by 7:30. If you want to reserve a seat for that or whatever you call it, go to getrealwealth.com. Upper right-hand corner, it'll say free workshop. Just click there and you can reserve a seat or whatever we're supposed to call it. All right, let's go to email now. By the way, make sure that what I said was clear to you, that you need two sources of income. one on the left-hand side of the cash flow quadrant to be happy, to serve others, and one on the right side where your money works for you. And that income comes in whether you work or not, so that when you do get old enough that you either wish to retire or can't work anymore because of health reasons, you've still got money coming in and you don't become a burden on your children, which none of us want that. They have their own kids. That's the only person they should be paying for, not us. Okay, let's do some emails now. This one, I already talked about that, but I do want to review it. This is a new email with the same question. I'm sorry. Raylon? Yeah, that's a cool name. Yes, you can use credit cards, but that does not replace a deposit. Do not take just a credit card as the deposit. But it is okay to take a deposit and then keep a credit card as a backup. But remember, you have to be able to accept credit cards. So you've got to go to a service like Stripe in advance and register there so that you can accept credit cards. Then you have to have a special document that you're going to need to get an attorney to write up that they sign so that they understand that their credit card will be charged for any additional repairs that go beyond the security deposit. And remember our little secret, if the rent is $1,500, make the deposit $1,700. That's a much better, it keeps people from confusing it with the last month's rent and gets you a couple $100 more security deposit. But don't ever use the same security deposit as 1 month's rent. Then get that credit card for backup in case they have $2,000 worth of damage. You can charge the credit card. But remember, this is going to take perfect record keeping. Perfect. Because those credit cards will refund them. They will. Unless you've got proof of everything. So you've got to do your walk-through when they move in. They need to sign off that everything was perfect. Then when you do your inspection after they move out, you need to mark and photograph everything that you're going to repair. Do not do the repairs yourself. Okay? Because they're not going to give you much credit for that. Plus, that's the wrong way to own real estate anyway. Get those repairs done, save all your receipts, and charge the credit card. Then, if they contest it, you send all that stuff to the credit card company, and you should be fine. So yes is the answer to it, but the first step is going to go to stripe.com, and get yourself the ability to accept credit cards. You don't have to use Stripe or anything like that, but they're just a good company, real easy to work with. Best market for wholesaling and buyer's criteria. This is a wholesaler, John, and John, let me put it to you this way. The questions that you're asking are speculative, and we're not speculators, we're investors. When you say, I'm looking for the right market to invest in, that's a speculator's question. I'm looking for the right market so that prices go up, is what it sounds like. When really you should be looking for cash flow and equity capture. See, smart investors make money the day they close the deal. They don't wait 5, 10, 15, 20 years. They make money the day they close the deal. And you need to be thinking that way too, John. Be very cautious of looking outside. Where are you, Houston? Outside of Houston. There is so much opportunity here that it's insane. I mean, I got here, I'm not born in Texas, but I got here 35 years ago. I got here as quick as I could, as they say. A girl brought me down here from UT on a date. We came down here and then went to Galveston, and it was a great trip. But I was done. The minute I saw Houston, I could sense the opportunity here. And I moved here, I'd say 6 months later, something like that. So don't think that the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence in Phoenix or Atlanta. And those are great cities, great opportunities. But you're sitting in Houston with unbelievable opportunities in multiple neighborhoods. So here's what I suggest you do, John. Make sure that you are staying in the $150,000 to $220,000 neighborhoods. That's the ARVs, not what you're paying. That's the after repaired value. Then you should be picking up no less than 10%, but I really want you shooting for 15% plus equity capture. And I want you to have $300 plus a month positive cash flow. Are those things going to go up in value? Yes, real estate has doubled in value almost every 20 years since 1776. So yeah, you'll get the equity, but what you need to do, the appreciation. You'll get the appreciation, but what you have to understand is the appreciation is the icing on the cake. Principal pay down or equity buildup. Well, we'll call it principal pay down. Principal pay down is the icing on the cake. The cake is your cash flow number one and your equity capture number two. Focus on those two things, John, and you're going to find you don't need to look at other markets. You just need to get off your rear end, believe in Houston, and buy everything you can get your hands on. And, okay, during COVID, yes, there are going to be massive numbers of opportunities coming up. And again, I'm speculating right now, predicting the future, but it's based off my past experience, not guesswork. Every time there's a catastrophe like this, when we turn around, there's an incredible opportunity. And that opportunity is going to be in single family and apartments and some commercial. So you need to make sure you're educated and prepared to take advantage of the market that's coming after the COVID response is complete. Okay, next question. Phone lines are open, by the way. Let me check the call manager. Phone lines are open, 281-558-5738, 281-558-KSEV. This next one is, do I cold call or ARV, Unisol? I've been calling 3 realtors today to hopefully work with me and give me information on some properties I found. My question is, should I reach out to the property owners first to see if they have motivation to sell or try to get the ARV from the realtors? Well, there's 2 things wrong with this, Unisol. I hope I'm saying your name right. Please forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. Neither of those things are the right thing to do. Don't ever let an agent run comparable sales for you. They don't care as much as you do, and it's an annoyance to them. You shouldn't be bugging your agents and saying, yeah, run comps on this house. That's not their job. Run your own comps. And if you're not subscribed to a service to do that, you're not a professional. There is no professional investor out there that isn't subscribed to a service, online service, to run comparable sales. And there are multiple platforms out there that do that. If you want to check out ours, go to homeinvestortool.com, homeinvestortool.com, and take the 7-day free trial. The second thing is, okay, what was the other one? Give me information. Okay, the first one is do not let other people run your comparable sales or rents. You run them yourself. God, I've lost my second point. But the third one, I'm skipping one, I'll try to get back to it, is yes, you call first. You don't even know if you got a deal. You've got to call, see if that family needs your help, and even wants it, because there's some families who need help and their egos won't let them take the help, then that's when you run your ARV and start making offers. All right, this has been the GetRealWealth.com radio show. I'm your host, Steve Davis. You're listening to AM 700, Voice of Texas. Thanks for listening.
This has been the GetRealWealth.com radio show. Please remember that this show is for entertainment purposes only and should not be construed as legal, tax, or investing advice. Always get a professional opinion before making any investment decision. To find out about the mentoring and consulting at Real Wealth Academy, visit GetRealWealth.com and attend one of our free introductory workshops on real estate investing. That's GetRealWealth.com. Thanks for listening and have a great rest of your day.